this is Janko, and yes, it's been a minute. I've been pretty busy with back office stuff I hate, but stuff I need to do. And now I'm back to coding, and yet there's another thing I hate, which is making your app work when you deploy it. Because it might run perfectly in a Dockerized setup, maybe only with a Docker file or within Docker Compose locally. And then you just want to deploy it and it just doesn't work because at least environment variable management gets in the way. And I just decided, because I've been going crazy with this over the last couple of days, I need to sit down to exactly understand what's going on by actually developing or deploying a little Hello World app using some components that I like, and I just thought maybe someone else would also be interested in this. So this is pretty raw, it's not scripted, and I'm not going to explain all the details around the tools. I might do another video on those things if you're interested. So let's just get right into it. All right, so I'll create a little code project which is called dev.env, because we'll be using the .env infrastructure and the Python packages associated to that. And let's just fire up cursor. And then you see a little .env v0. This is just for peeking, because I did also already implement something. Let's just start with bringing up the shell or the terminal. Maybe let's make this a little bigger. And we're calling Poetry init. Poetry is a pretty awesome tool, I think, or package or framework. That's one of those frameworks, though, that I won't go into detail on. I think it's on. I might do, as I said, a little deep dive video on that. Right. So now we got our Py project toml. I know that I need python.env-vault, which is one of the things that should work, that should make things easier when deploying stuff regarding secrets management. And that's exactly what I need to figure out. We'll be creating a little Hello World Streamlit app. So we need Streamlit, and that's pretty much all the things we need. We also need a README, just because otherwise we can't install our package. Let's actually try that. Right, there's no folder stuff. All right, so now I go into the composer and we'll say I want to create a minimal package with poetry. Please update with poetry. Excuse me, just have some coffee left. Yeah. Following a source-based directory layout, the directory below source is called dev.env with an underscore. Yeah, actually I could have created that myself. I just realized. However, let's just go into the details of let's actually see what was the command for typing. Yeah. I want to test a minimal Streamlit app with using python.env-vault package. So please make sure we have an env file, a .env file with some hello world-ish environment variable that we can test and set up a minimal Streamlit app for testing the use of environment variables. This was a pretty awkward prompt using Python dotenv-vault package using the, okay, so please make sure we have a .env file with some hello world-ish environment variable that we can test and set up a little Streamlit app for. Let's run with this. This actually we don't need. It did the source-based layout. Okay, it created the env file. Perfect. It updates. Oh, that's what I actually wanted to. The agent always, or the LLMs always want to work directly in the Pi project toml, which I don't like. And now I remember what I forgot. So the app, sure. Yep. Please make sure the package is referenced correctly in Pi project toml. And then there's other ini script stuff that I always keep forgetting. What I just told it is exactly this line, which I always forget about the details of exactly how it should be. Add the ini stuff in Pi project toml as well, please, for tests. And yeah, actually, let's wait with this. Because now we first try to install our package. This works perfect. Then we run the Streamlit app. We forgot something. We didn't create a virtual environment. Now it's running. Okay, and it says hello from the vault, which is exactly the value of this dummy environment variable, which is called greeting. And in the app, we are doing the following. Actually, I don't like what it's doing right now because we're only using the .env package, not the .env-vault package. It is installed through, I guess, python.env-vault. That's the package we actually want to be using. So we just change this up here and check if everything still runs. That's the case. So okay, now we are going back to the composer and say, please create a multi-stage Docker file where we leverage poetry install to not, so we don't have to copy the entire code base to the final stage. Make sure in the Streamlit app is started through a auxiliary script, or even better, a CLI, what is that, command in the CMD part of the Docker file. So we're leveraging poetry, which I really like. Aryan Codes, the YouTuber actually came up with yet another better, possibly better thing to use, but I actually still like Poetry. I will try out the other framework like soonish. And what we're doing here is we actually also creating a CLI and referencing that in our, wait, what's happening here? Run app, okay. Okay, yeah, sure, why not? Make it callable in a different manner. That's our Docker file. Let's just read through that really quickly. We need to copy not only the Poetry log, but the README as well, because it needs to be there for Poetry stuff to work. That's always a gotcha. And slam virtual env from builder, we're calling dev.env and we should have this command here that we're calling in the Docker file is actually our CLI that we just created. What did I forgot? It's still, oh, I did a manual change here. That's the thing. All right, that looks good. Probably there's a minor stuff that's still off, which is usually the case with Docker files, especially when you let it build, let the AI build it. And then what do we have? No dev doesn't exist. Okay. So what I usually do is, that's my new hack. I copy that over and I have a little, in Notion, I have a little thing here, which is not completely on point for this one because it references game plans. We're not using game plans here. Necessary changes. So I do a step-by-step reasoning to find the root cause, and then give me your reasoning on what you want to change. It's a bit overkill for this, obviously. For this little change, there's some flag is just set incorrectly. But it's still a good way of interacting with the model, I think. So what was the root cause? The primary error is happening because Poetry's CLI interface has changed. Okay, so that's the thing, that the interface has changed. And so we need to align some stuff. Where is it? And it's here where we need to make the change, the major change. This is the so-called Vorführ effect in German, which is, I'm pretty much certain is going to kick in a couple times throughout this video, because it's kind of like Murphy's Law, right? What can go wrong will go wrong. It's just the nature of things. So, okay, this actually went through. I always keep forgetting how to start a Docker container. And failed create task, failed run, and I will just start container. Don't want to deal with this right now. Instead, we are using Docker Compose. Please create a Docker Compose YAML file so I can start the app through Docker Compose up. So now it's creating that file that we need. We don't need the version anymore. It's deprecated, so we can get rid of that. Let's just scan through the thing. It actually looks okay. So then we try Docker Compose up. Wait, Streamlit requires raw Python files. Ah, yeah, that's one of the Murphy's Law things. The LLM chose a different route in the other package project that I referenced in the beginning. But sorry, let me put the prompt down. Reason about the root cause, please. I'm assuming it has to do how the CLI command is set up, since we don't copy the code base but just install our package. It might come back with, ah, good catch. Exactly right. That's the reason the Docker file made out the Docker file. So source, copy source to source. No, that's exactly not what I want to do. Reject. I do not want to copy source in Docker file, but install the package built through poetry install. What poetry build? Sorry, no, it's poetry install. In the later build stages, make sure you find another way. And I'm just too scrambled. I could have obviously figured this all out on my own, but I keep forgetting, always keep forgetting what worked in Docker and how I did the built the wheel. Sure, fine. It's not what I want. I actually don't want to copy the entire source, because it contains the entire code base, which is, I think, unnecessary, if I understand. Oh, sorry. I should read. We are in the builder stage, so it's fine here. It's not fine when we enter the runtime stage. Okay, sorry LLM, sorry AI. Did we actually do a change here? No, let's go back. How are we calling it? Run app. Let's see. Obviously, we need to rebuild. That's a catch. What is that? Catch 42? Or how do you say that in English? Wait. What's happening? I think it has something to do with how we're calling the Streamlit app itself. This is really the forfeit effect. In the other one, it actually worked just fine. The issue is that the service trying to run Streamlit app. Yeah, we have a process within a process situation. Let's see. That looks better. So let's fire that up, and this is our Dockerized Streamlit app running, which is only obviously the first step. Now comes the actual thing I want to test, and it involves dotenv.org. I really like that platform, but I always struggle to get it working in production settings. So your mileage may vary. The thing we need is we do have a .env file, but we now need to publish that to the .env.org platform. So we call npx. So you need to make sure you have dotenv-vault installed via npm, which I already did, and then I can call npx.env-vault latest new, and then it will guide you through a certain process here that you need to go through in order to set everything up. I must have done that 1,000 times for the 1,000 projects that I keep starting. And so basically now we have a development version of our .env file. This one will be populating. You see it's hello hello development at the moment, so it's just a dummy file. We will be pushing our .env file, which has the secrets or the environment variables that we want, to the platform by running the push command. And now you should see that it is updated. What we then do is we pull a production version, because that's the one we probably want to use. It's good practice or best practice to distinguish between environments, like your local development or testing environment, however you want to call that, and at least separate from that should be the production environment. And so we pull production. I'll show you that before we pull. You can actually, in the drop down, you see you can have as many environments as you want. One for CI, one for staging, one for testing, however you want to set up your environment layers, and one for production. And production still has dummy content. We'll be pulling that dummy content, which will lead to a .env.production with this exact dummy content. I want to use the same content as in my .env file, which is always that's by convention, that's your development .env file. So it doesn't have .env.development like for production. Yeah, just by convention. We shouldn't override the production comment over here or at the top. No, now I managed to copy instead of paste. So let's get rid of that. What's happening? Why am I not? Why can't I copy? No. All right, and now we push that back to our platform, to .env.org. Push production, and then we'll refresh, and we see we also have the production version with our desired content. Good. Now we built the thing, which will lead to a dotenv-vault update. And then we can look at our keys. Obviously, I will take down my development or deployment, because the keys might be compromised when I put it out on video. But here you see the different keys that we need to decrypt this little thing here, the dotenv.vault, which is an encrypted hashed version of our entire .env file that we want to use. It's kind of if you're not familiar with hashing stuff, that this might be a bit over the top of your head, but it's not rocket science. You will figure it out. I can do a video on it if you want me to. You can actually only look at your production keys, because I think this is the one that I need, by calling keys and then production at the end, this command here. And this is the key that I will now copy. And with that, we are off to Railway. And we'll create a new project. Oh, I forgot, there's no git repo yet. So we do a git init, and we create a new repository. It's called dev.env, and it can be public, why not, for change. Then we copy the command to actually set up the remote repo. Yep, great. Git status with Python. So we let it update our little, our very important git ignore file. Should always check that. That sounds really like I'm your dad. I'm not. I fucked this up multiple times. So it's just a recommendation to check before you actually commit what's actually going in there. Check your git ignore file. The doauv-vault file is good to go. It should be going in there, but for example, .env obviously not. .env-vault is the encrypted version, so that's fine. Everything else is production code or app code, so that's fine. So we run git add all, git commit, initial commit, git push u origin main, and we should have everything pushed. Great. Docker file is there. Everything should be there to now move over to, and by now obviously I forgot my key and I'm lazy, so I just step through my past commands. This is the key, which I'll copy, and then we are back to, wait, where were we? New project, deploy from GitHub repo, this one. And now comes the important part, setting environment variables. I always use the raw editor, and we need the key to be the value of .env key, if I'm not mistaken. I actually peeked, wait, where's perplexity? Here, .env key, yeah, as perplexity. Again, how to set this up correctly, and I failed, so that's why we're doing this entire thing, to test with the most minimal app possible. Okay, I just remember one thing that's also always catch whatever number the catch is, catch 22. Need to look this up. So in our Docker file with the ports, Railway needs to be non-hard-coded. Do we need to change anything in our Docker setup to account for this? And there I always forget the solution I worked, the solution that worked in the end. I always keep forgetting it. So virtual env, if the port is not set, then use one. Okay. Here, expose port. I think this is the thing that I was looking for, because this one is going to be set by the platform you're using. And this is exactly, we need to, yeah. So it was good practice to actually remember that, or good that I remembered it, because it needs to be referenced in the way we launch the Streamlit app. So it's actually using or running on the port that we needed to run. We probably need to change that in Docker Compose as well. Exactly. Before it was hard-coded to the Streamlit typical port, which is 85 or 8501. Sorry for stumbling there. And then here, yeah, it's localhost. I don't think it should be localhost. Shouldn't it be 0.0.0.0 instead of localhost when using Docker? This might not be true, but I thought it was best practice. Yeah, it says absolutely right. So caught that here. It's set here already. So here it was specified correctly. Here it was wrong because it was using localhost, which Docker doesn't seem to like. And so we do git status here. Yeah, git add all. Port, git push, and we have the variables. We deploy that. There should be two deployments and lots of stuff failing. Let's see. Yeah, might have been confused, or the error was maybe from before. No, it's still failing. Let's look at the logs. Why was it cancelled? Oh, I might have not set everything up correctly. Let's see, we're building from .env, we're doing a public network, we're building by Docker file. We don't need a new builder, we don't need a custom build demand. Region, that's good, we don't need that much power. And do app sleeping, sure. This looks not too bad. So why am I failing this early? Okay, we don't have Poetry installed, I think. Okay. Please reason about the root cause and fix. It has to do with either Poetry not being installed or the .env not being copied. Yeah. I'm not sure if that's really good. Is it really good practice to copy my local dot? Oh, sorry, no. Wait. I was thinking about venv. No. No. No env file should ever be copied to the Docker image. Find, we want to leverage using the encrypted dotenv-vault, and this might actually be what's doing the trick, because before I forgot to copy the .env.vault, the encrypted version of our .env file, into the Docker image, which I'm just telling the AI to do now, of our .env file. Oh God, I can't type. All right, we should use .env-vault instead of copying any. Let's fix this. Okay. I'm good with that per se. I'm still. Okay, so it's referencing the .env key once I told it, which is good because this might be in the training set that .env org needs environment variable .env key, which uses our key that I just copied in a couple of minutes before. And it's baking it into or using it in the Docker container, which to me makes sense. This should be available through the platform, so we should have that. This is the fallback, which also I think is fine. The virtual env is there, so yeah, that looks actually not that bad. We do the similar things here, fine. Edit and follow copy instead. Yeah, let's see if that does the trick. Let's push. And now, since we set up everything a new on Railway, a new deployment should actually start. Well, there's one change from the platform still, which probably had to do with this app sleep setting that I set here. And now deployments, it's initializing, but it still fails quite early. Wow, this is really the forfeit effect. From the logs. It has something to do with, yeah, okay, sure, an example. With the way poetry is installed or used. Let's see. Typically indicates that the process was killed running out of memory. No, I don't think so. Well, maybe, but. Okay, we are in the builder stage. We want to not use poetry anymore. Sure, let's try. Oh, no, sorry, we are installing poetry. We are installing our package with poetry. That's where I had question marks. Okay, let's try. What is that? Fixed Docker file for poetry stuff. Even though this doesn't go even as smoothly for the toy example or the toy app, it's actually quite good that this happens, because that's, at least for me, that's deployment life, and I hate it. I really hate it. It's still too complicated. Not saying I'm the best developer out there, like, not at all, right? But I know my way around code and Docker, and still, oh, poetry logs. This one actually, we probably need to copy it in this runtime stage as well. But just to make sure. So I'm guessing we need a copy statement right around here for the runtime environment. Project toml, copy log, yeah. Maybe I was wrong, but wait, where we had the copy, the poetry log. Oh, maybe this one. Yeah, that's the thing. I need to generate the poetry log file first. That makes sense, I guess, because we need to create the log file within the Docker, like Linux environment. So what I was saying earlier is wrong, because here we're not using poetry anymore, but we're installing via pip. Okay, fine. The AI was smarter than me. Git add all git commit poetry log. And obviously those things that happen that you stumble, I think that's the right word, over and over, stumble across over and over again, it makes sense to codify those probably in cursor rules or anything similar. So the AI just knows, hey, when Janko wants a Docker file and we are using poetry, then this is basically the stuff, this is the recipe I need to use, right? So we kind of want to take out as much guesstimating as we can. Still, we're failing. Poetry install, no root, gosh dear. This is so much fun. It's just so much fun. From the logs. This is going to be a much longer video than I expected. Dependency issue with Poetry installation. Let's fix the Poetry installation, ensure all dependencies are installed. Okay. The Clio, what does the Clio do? No depths. Where's the no depths? Did I just overread that? A required dependency. Interesting. Didn't know that. All right. Poetry fixes. Come on, now I need a win. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Yeah, as I was saying, take out as much. Why are you not building? Build wheel, failed to solve process, install only main root, did not complete. Why didn't it complete? So let me go back a little bit further. And let's bring reason thoroughly about the root cause and fix this issue. It's just happy, fun Dockerfile stuff. So the reasoning, root cause analysis shows multiple layers of dependency issue. Rapid fuzz, okay, interesting. Haven't heard about that before either. But sure, do whatever you need to do to get Poetry running in the Linux environment. You know, because we're still missing some dependencies beyond Clio. Oh, root user, that's bad practice. Actually, yeah, that's actually really good practice. Let's add a non-root user where it makes sense in the build process, please. Nothing changed in Docker Compose. And I think at the runtime we can use a different app user. And we add the app user here. Yep, definitely good practice. Copy, give that user only the rights, the privileges to actually work with our dotev-vault file. Oh my god. And off we go. Poetry, depths, and user. And off we are to our 20th deployment. At least that's how it feels like. Let's do real-time watching of the logs. You gotta be kidding me. It's so much fun to do this stuff. Obviously, you could argue if you were just a better developer, then none of this would happen. Fair point, but development is just not the only thing I do, and I'm always eager to learn more. But it seems really odd that Poetry actually requires that many explicit dependencies in our Docker file. I'm still missing the request dependency, which poetry needs. Reason about other possible dependencies that maybe it's the that poetry might need. It feels pretty explicit and verbose to having to state those depths in our Docker file. Verbose and fragile, exactly. You might miss dependencies, you need to update them, and pip install, no cached year. So what's actually different? All. Sure, let's do all. Why not? Extra. I like that much better. Git commit. Yeah, as I was saying, sure, if I were a better developer, none of this would bother me, but you just need to deal with the realities, right? And I just know what I know. I just remember what I can remember, and I try to deal with it, and we're failing again. It's just not. What's the error? Pip install, maybe there's a pi, maybe we're just missing the pi project. No, the issues with the syntax of the pip install command. Okay. Needs to be differently. The syntax is a little different. I hope you're right about this. Let's see. Pip syntax fix. Yeah, and I might be completely wrong with this, but I think there are lots of developers out there that might even not yet self-qualify as developers because they just started coding through AI maybe, that pretty sure that everyone is running or tripping or stumbling across this at one time or another. So that's why I don't feel bad that I cannot fix it all by myself. And build the wheel, run poetry, install dependencies, fail to solve process. The poetry install. So I can't recall if it was this command or the pip command before. But I think it was the pip command before. Wrote this and fix please. I still use please and thank you quite a lot. I got aware of that. I'm lacking the word here to express what I wanted to say. I noticed that I keep using please and thank you quite a lot. So I'm anthropomorphizing or whatever that's called. So the issue is that we still have pip no depths in our environment, which is preventing pip from installing poetry dependencies. Okay, cool. Yeah. Then let's not do that. Sounds good. Pip no depths gone. I still feel like the error message actually was complaining about this here, so which is down here. But maybe that's tied to pip. Let's see, at least we're not failing within the first like 5 seconds. We're already at, cool, we're installing. So Poetry install actually works at this stage. So we are here. Let's see. Yeah, we're in the builder stage and we should be running this. And then after that, obviously we build our package. That's what's happening now. And here it's happening. Also not completely right. We're already here, I think. As you see, I'm a master of, yeah, we are at the runtime stage already. I'm a master in interpreting Docker build output, not. Okay, we actually went through the build. The build should have succeeded. Yep. And we have deployment failures. Invalid value, file does not exist. Yeah, it's still, we're still referencing actual files. Actual files, but we are files where we should be exposing the entities we need, or the modules. We are some package ready manner by e.g. exposing or exporting them via init py files or similar. Please check the code base and reason about the right fixes. Properly package our application. We go to the init in our dev.env root directory, if you will, below source, obviously. In our source-based layout, update our app to be more package friendly. We're actually not doing anything here, it seems like, or the UI is broken. Let's see, just by eyeballing, I don't see any changes here. And update the Docker file to use the installed package. Interesting, I cannot actually see what the command is. Yeah, this was the issue. We don't have source/dev.env.app available because we don't copy the source directory. That's the entire reason we're doing this. So let's undo this and accept this. Exactly. So we're getting there. Dot app. Let's just put it in like this in the commit message and do a git push. And off we are to another deployment. And then I'm really interested in, or how do you say it in English? I'm not anxious. I don't know. Also, don't look forward. With the .env stuff, which is the reason we are doing this entire thing here. For a little Hello World app. That's like the most pressing part in a sense about all of this. But the good news is if you figured it out for a Hello World app, and then which you then just populate with your actual app code, then you should at least be much easier, much faster with troubleshooting what's going wrong because you got the scaffold. It's kind of like something I really admire in the Ruby world with Ruby on Rails. I tried this out in, I don't know, I think in 2008, 2009 with my first Rails application, and I always thought it was just such a great idea to have the scaffold of the entire app with stubs for the database and all everything you need to have it end-to-end ready to at least run it, be able to run it, to have that be created like as the first order of business, if you will, and you just then populate and refactor the inner parts of all your modules, but the I/O, the interfaces, the entire end-to-end thing should still be there, should not break. Should, obviously. It always does break, of course. Okay, we're starting a container. It still looks good. But we are missing no such option. What's the M option? Huh. Okay, so this still doesn't. We need to find another way of starting the app. If it's easier, then just create a aux script directly within the Docker file instead of calling a CLI command. Let's see, because I know that worked for another deployment Docker file that I'm using, which is exactly what's happening here now. So we take out the Python C, so we're not running. Yep. So I want to keep the commented out the old command, so I'm rejecting, but I copied, before I rejected, I copied the actual proposal, which is now calling Python instead of Streamlit Run. And this should be good now. Org script. Which reminds me of another best practice thing, especially when coding with LLMs, is to use the most straightforward approach or implementation, which is not always the most elegant way of doing things. I mean, creating a Python script within your Docker file is arguably not that pretty, but it works, and it cuts out the dependency on our CLI, which is, right, you're decreasing the surface of, in hacking terms, you're always talking about the attack surface, I think, how much exposure you have for being attacked. And I think of it in a similar way when you think about the surface for things going wrong, going south, basically. And we just decreased that surface a little bit, hopefully. Let's see. Deployment is running. So we are sure by now that the build of the image and the container works smoothly. So we're just concerned with the deployment logs and the deployment. This looks definitely better than before. So now I just remembered that I probably forgot to generate a domain. Wait. Here, Generate a domain. I don't know which port it was. I thought this was set automatically. It's probably not port 8080. Interesting. I don't remember having to do that before. What the port is 8501. We might need to set the port actually in our develop in environment variables. Interesting. Always something new, isn't it? So let's go to the variables and actually use that explicitly, which unfortunately causes us to redeploy. Which should go fast though, as you've seen. Unwillingly, or what do you call it? Not by choice, but because I failed so many times for a couple of rounds now. Yeah, I'm always, that's also always also something I admit to always being confused by, is that the port stuff is set by platforms, and I never know if I need to set it though explicitly still, as we did right now, because at some point the platform or the app does request stuff like that. So I now did it explicitly. Let's see, where are we with the, I think we just started the, no, we didn't start the deployment yet, but now we should. Streamed Atom browser, you stream it in a file and run it with the same command. Okay, interesting. So we do have a warning here that I didn't realize, I didn't pay that close attention to. Do we need to switch things up? Yes, we do proper server configuration. Ah, yeah, the server configuration. I remember that. That rings a bell. There's a .streamlit file also that we can use, I think, or specify it in the Docker file. Yeah, stuff like that. That, I think that's the, this was the missing part here. And we have, are we still calling the aux script now, though? I don't think so. Okay, put differently, does the approach work when we didn't copy source into our image, but just install the package via pip, and then need to work with exposed functionality to start things, to run things. Now I understand your point. Good. Good. Okay, so it still wants to delete. It wants to delete the aux script. Okay, I'm not that familiar yet with how. So it's a module, it's a package. So yeah, this should obviously work because in .env we got the module. This is a module because of the init.py. That much I understand. Did we export it here? Maybe we could ask that. Is the init.py specified or set up how it needs to be to make the CMD in Docker file work? Exactly. Oh, the main function. We are exposing the main function from our app.py. Yeah. Okay. Stimulates with style exposure when using .env app. Python will first look at this one, then call that thing, and then call main. Okay, fine. That's all I needed to know. What did we fix now? The Streamlit config. Actually, this is a good moment to make some, to advertise something that I am planning on doing, and it's, where did I put that down? The Hitchhiker's Guide, exactly. Not sure which one I'm going with. This is still early cover ideas. Actually, I don't like that much. I think I like that one better. Come on, bring it up. Yep. So, which is not completely correct here. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Gen AI Coding Galaxy. I talked about this in one other video of mine, and I actually want to codify all those little tricks and hoops you need to jump through when coding with AI, with Gen AI. Basically, for and foremost, again, for my own usage. So this actually looks, oh, come on. You gotta be kidding me. So I don't have to keep doing stuff that, wait. Oh, the M. Yeah, we got. There seem to be issues with the M flag. So that once I have this book or this whatever guide, however, it might be an HTML site with lots of videos or interchangeable or interchanged content types, text and code and videos and so on. So I don't have to do that over and over again because it's just written down. And it could be served to the AI to actually as kind of like a rule book or playbook. That's kind of the basic idea. Doesn't support the M flag, so let's fix that. Yes, great. Would have been nice of you to have thought about this before. Okay, wow. Now we're going back deep into the virtual environment where we installed our package to. Interesting. Let's see. Seems pretty verbose, to be honest, and thus fragile, but if it works, that's by now my main goal for the first time, for the time being. M flag fix. Getting tired and needing another coffee. My mind wanders again to this stylized fact, or this thing I can't seem to get over, is that in 2025 deployment is that hard. It shouldn't. I will die on that hill. Yes, there's skill issues involved, but I spent hours actually before AI trying to understand Docker files and the entire Docker engine and how the differences, you wouldn't believe how many subtle differences there are between OS and Mac OS or Linux OS. Slight stuff, but that's what makes or breaks things. So I'm not saying I'm not to blame here, but I also streamlit run invalid value for server port is not a valid. Oh, now we are at a different error though, at least. Can we ensure that port is transformed or coerced to an integer value? Yeah, so I'm to blame for that in a certain sense, but I also want to just for the record state that I did try to do my homework and I have the AI. So together we should be able to figure this out within like 5 minutes or so. So what did it do? Server port. Oh, so it rewrote the thing here so that it's not too. Oh yeah, with this old one we had double quotes around it, so which made this port value a string. Port as number fix. Yeah, just for this command, getting the command statement correct for the different app or language scenarios that you're in. For Python needs to be this, and probably it shouldn't. There's probably one way that fits all languages, and that's best practice. I yet seem to either find this best practice or remember that best practice, which is yet another reason for I need a second brain, right? There are lots of people out there that want to develop second brains. I'm one of them. And I will either use an existing framework or approach and make it my own because I have like really unique requirements, I think, maybe not, for semantically linking stuff. And being able to grab or query the second brain just in the way that I need to do it because my brain works that way. But maybe I think I'm more special. Wow, this looks good. We don't have any. Sorry about that. Not sorry about that. You're here for not me ranting about my second brain, but for getting this thing up and running with .env. which seemed to be the case. Let's not celebrate too early. I always keep forgetting where the fastest thing to see the here. See the link that actually that looks good. Hallelujah. Just took me what, an hour to get this up and running, but now I think I just by doing it I found the root cause of what failed before. Because maybe going back to Perplexity once more, I asked Perplexity, can I use .env.org with the Python package python.dotenv-vault with Railway? And it said, sure, go ahead. You do the thing you need to do for the .env.org side, which we did. You know, remember those .env files for development and production. And then I misread the way of continuing after that by just Railway automatically picking up the .env.vault file, which we did publish. Sorry, this is another repo. We need dev.env. Right, so the .env.vault file was there in the repo for the way to pick up, right? And then you need to specify the .env key in your settings, which we did. Sorry, this was the wrong one. Variables here. This is our key. But it still didn't work. And now I know why it didn't work, because the crucial part is basically this here. We need to copy the .env.vault file from our root directory, which has per se nothing to do with the Docker image yet, into our Docker image. And then Railway is able to connect the dots by using that .env key to kind of unlock or decrypt our .env file, and then and thus having access to our actual environment variables with their values, which in our case is hello from the vault. That's just to showcase that if we for whatever reason we change some environment variable and we redeploy, example env-var value changed, and we push, then it works, right? That's at least that's the theory. Let's but by now there's actually not anything that could possibly go wrong. I will regret this sentence in 2 minutes probably, but I'm fairly confident. Wait. Catch whatever. This is living in our .env file. It's not we didn't change it in our production file. So changed, right? So just we wouldn't need to do that, but just to stay in sync with our .env.org platform, we push this to a new version, which will then result in version 3 of our production env file. Wait, npx, no matching version found. What? Now I'm puzzled. Package version doesn't exist. Whoa! How did I manage to break this? I can figure that out later. It doesn't, as I said, it's not directly concerned with Railway and the way we need to deploy stuff. So where's our commit message here? No, sorry, this was the, it doesn't matter. No, we do need to, sorry, this was me getting confused. We do need to update the doauv-vault now. I'm puzzled why we got the .env-me. Was this due to the fact that we created our runtime, maybe our virtual environment? Or why is this failing? .env-vault at latest. Okay, now it seems to work. Push, yeah, okay. So going back to here, and we are in the development stage, where we go to production. It's version 4 already, because I think we pushed a couple of times now. Locally, we're still at version 2, so I think it's good practice to also pull the new version that we just pushed, in order just to be in sync here with the comment. I don't think it's mandatory, but probably good practice. And now we build, and by building, we update our .env-vault, which should materialize when we run git status that it's new. Yeah. And now we can do the commit. And now when we go back to Railway, we should see the change reflected and everything still running smoothly. So deployment running smoothly. As I said, usually whenever I speak the words, nothing should happen, or this should work fine, obviously Mr. Murphy comes around the corner and slaps me in the face. But not this time, Mr. Murphy. I win. And that's, maybe to round things off, that's pretty much always the good news, that much like in a Hollywood movie, like in the classical Hollywood movies, the blockbuster ones, there tends to be always a happy end, right? It's a bit the same for coding. If you have the stamina and the grit to actually work through the stuff, either you yourself or with the help of AI, it won't happen magically just by delegating everything to the AI. I think this video serves as a demonstration that no, it's not that easy, but it is possible, right? You and the AI, or the LLMs to be more precise, working together, you are, I guess, almost always able to figure things out in the end and make it work. And we just did, and I'm actually quite glad that I have this on tape now, because I think it shows a couple of things that I think are best practice, coming back to using poetry, for example, and PyProject.toml, and using .env in general, using .env-vault together with, which kind of unlocks you the platform .env.org, which I think is great because it's a good way of managing your credentials locally. And as we now know, when you know how to do it, you can use the same mechanism on the Herokus, the Railways, the Savallas, whatever deployment platform you choose. I'm not there yet to get everything set up and running, or set up everything and get everything up and running on GCP, on Azure, on AWS, because usually there's a whole nother can of worms that you open when you want to do that. So I'm still in the stage of getting things, shipping things through railway, which is not the not the cheapest way of doing it, obviously. And if you want to scale, then it's probably not a good option. I don't know. Oh, sorry, railway. I don't want to, give you bad publicity here. I love that tools like railway exist. It makes my life much easier, even though much easier is still hard or harder than I want it to be. But this video serves testimony that it's possible. It serves as a testimony of how hard is. And with that, I think I'm stopping this video, going back quick and dirtily to full screen here. Yeah, so hang in there. If you experience something similar while developing, coding, trying to deploy your stuff, hang in there. Light at the end of the tunnel. You just need to push through. And once I codified everything in my little Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy thing, maybe come back to that. Hopefully life will be a bit easier. Here it's at least written or spelled correctly. And yeah, I basically invite everyone to collaborate on this project with me, because it should be a shared resource, right? It will be free. I won't charge for that. It's just my intro of I think what's possible with co-creating things with humans, like-minded humans, and the AI, and everything else. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Maybe it will just will stop at 1 or 2 pages. I don't think so. I think there's lots of stuff that we can collaborate on and to collect, that we collectively can solve and persist that knowledge for others to use in an actionable way, which is then also updated regularly, because that's the thing about books and about this type of knowledge. About railway changes, Docker changes all the time. Docker Compose, for example, just did 1 or 2 years ago with the syntax. And yeah, so I just realized that I'm not sharing my screen anymore. Doesn't matter. This was quick and dirty, unfiltered. I hope you get something out of it, and catch you in the next one. Peace.